All right, welcome back to the show, the Q Method Show. I have a guest with me today. I'm very excited to introduce. Um, he, we actually went back and started out at Vivint, and actually he was my manager at the time and got me into sales. So we'll talk about that. But he was a Division I football player. He got into sales. Now he is the VP of New Sun Power. He's run many big teams, and I mean, he's done a lot of awesome stuff, and I'm excited to kind of dive into it with him. In this podcast, we're probably going to be talking a lot about fitness, mindset, sales, money, all the things. And I'm excited to have you on, Ty. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely. Excited to chop it up. Let's be a
Let's
good
do it,
time.
man. Let's do it. So, kind of fill us in, I guess, a little bit on your story. So, I guess as far as you want to go back, kind of like paint that picture. What got you into sales? What was that like? Like, give us some of that, kind of those early days.
Yeah, let's give you the sauce. It's funny when you look back on my career, I kind of ended up in a place where I never wanted to be.
Mm,
And like that changed over time. But I went on an LDS mission. I was a Mormon missionary, right? I went on a mission to New York City and I loved the lifestyle, loved the rambunctiousness, the loud, the energy. And throughout that time, I was like, yo, I want to trade on Wall Street. Like
mm,
I turned my mindset into that's what I want to go do for a living. So I came back from my mission with that mindset of like, yo, I want to go do what it takes to go trade on Wall Street, built connections, had friends
interesting.
on Wall Street from my mission and from school and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fortunate growing up to have a few mentors, business mentors, whether they were family friends. One was my mission president. And I asked them all, I'm like, hey, I'm looking to go do this. What would you recommend to separate myself from the pack? Like I always pride myself. I can outwork hard, outwork anybody, whether it's in the books or on the field or whatever. I'll go outwork as much as I can, right? But like, what's the separating factor for this specifically? Do you think that would get me on Wall Street? And every single one of them told me sales. And so it wasn't like, hey, go get good grades or find a good intern or build connections. Those are all like fine things, but it was, yo, go get good at sales. And so I went and met up with a friend at Vivint and ended up building a connection. He kind of challenged me at first. He's like, "Yeah, I don't know if you got what it takes, man." And that's all he had to say. That's all he had to say, man. I was like kind of like middle finger to you mentality. It's like, dude, watch me. Had a good first summer, but I was always that rep for the first 2 to 3 years. I was like, hey, I'm going to do this one more year. I'm going to do this one more year. I'm making good money. I don't have to work during the off season. I can go to focus strictly on school. Just got married, but I'm one more year. And then 100 grand turned into 200 grand, and then 200 grand turned into 400 grand. And then I was buying rental properties, starting businesses, and it just kind of got to this point where I'm like, yo, this is actually pretty dope. I'm pretty good at what I do. I still don't love what I do, but I'm really good at it. So
Yeah.
why would I trade this to go trade on Wall Street when my buddies on Wall Street are making 150 grand a year, but they work 120 hours a week, they're miserable and can't afford a life that they want to live, and they're still pushing paper and delivering coffee to people, you know? And
Mm,
I was like, you know what? Like, I make more, 3 times more than my buddies doing that. And I do this for hard work for 5 months of the year. And then the other seven, it's like, I'm still grinding, networking and everything. And so it kind of it shifted my mindset to, I need to start looking at what I'm really good at as opposed to what I want to do. And when I started to do that, everything took off: income, influence, everything else just kind of scaled. Left Vivint, got into solar, saw the money was night and day better. It was funny because you went and left us to go to solar. When we
hmm.
were at Vivint, it's like, dude, you
Yeah.
saw the writing on the wall even before I did. And I was killing the game, left the solar and developed really good relationships with where we went, but ultimately got to the point of like, hey, our guys are talented. No one sells more than we do, so we need to go start kind of merge with our previous group and roll with the best sales company we can go find, and that's where we incorporated back into New Sun 3 years ago. But that's kind of the accumulation of how all that grew up from not wanting to go do it. I was poor as a church mouse, had no money, but my
Mm,
mentors told me to go get into sales. And it was the golden ticket for me to kind of get the life I wanted. That's what I
dang.
traded for the lifestyle of Wall Street that I thought I wanted. If that makes sense. There's your synopsis for you.
Let's go. Okay, so let me dive into that, man. I love it. Okay, so when you So you were actually trying to get up Wall Street. Like that was your plan. And you were just doing sales for like a short, you're like, hey, I'm just gonna go make some money and then I'm gonna go into Wall Street. That was kind of like your plan. Okay. And then you just started taking off and you're like, you know what? Like why would I leave something that I'm getting good at? That's amazing. Isn't that funny how that
Hmm.
works, right? Like the plan you sometimes have like changes and then it's like and then you realize, wow, this plan is actually working a lot better. That's super interesting. So
Yeah,
let me ask,
cater to the talents rather than the desires. You know what I mean? And it's when you cater to your talents more than your desires come as a byproduct because you can go fund and your talents will bring everything in life, man. And so it's like lean into it, you know?
yeah. So for you, like when you got started with Vivint back in the day, like what made you become a leader so quickly and like what got you to that place where you like you said you had influence, you know, I even for me like I was like, oh man, this guy played football, like he has similar path as me. He got into sales. Like I was kind of going that same route and you definitely had that influence. I was like, I remember a couple of things stood out to me. I was like, man, this guy's already talking about investing. He's already got doors. He's already like getting into real estate. And then you were talking about like all the other investments too. Like you were just in the game that way too. So tell me like how did you get into that? Like how did you build that influence and get into leadership so quickly with Vivint? Like what was that path for you?
One thing I will preface is that Vivint, for the first 3 years I was there, I was nothing really special.
Mm,
I was kind of like the middle of the pack. It was kind of like your average C student. I was like, yo, I wasn't murdering it. I was doing well. And I could see the writing on the wall. I'm like, yo, like there are people that are way better than me at this. I need to go emulate what they go do. And I was a little bit of a lagging indicator for the things I was trying to put in. So the first 3 years, I did well. Like, don't get me wrong, like I did well in comparison to like average American households. But compared to who I pinned myself up against, I was like, yo, I'm kind of in the middle of the pack. I need to go separate myself. So creating that proximity of the people that are way better than you is what ultimately leveled up my game for sales, for investing. I started it, and our CEO now is one of my best friends. I started hanging out with him. He's my regional at the time at Vivint. And so I just started picking his brain on everything. Like, hey, what do you do? What should I do to here? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? And he was someone that practiced what he preached. It wasn't theoretical knowledge. It wasn't theoretical finances. It's like he had a lot of investment, a lot of doors. And I was like, you, that's what I want. I want I want the mailbox money for the rest of my life. I want leveraged income for the rest of my life. There's nothing passive. There's nothing passive about income in this world. It's all leveraged. Like, hey, how do I put in a little bit to get a lot later on? And he did it better than anybody that I knew at the time. And so I started replicating his playbook, but I was like, dude, like I stayed away from the stupid stuff. I didn't buy the crazy cars. Didn't
mm,
like I didn't go waste money on the weekends. Like I had zero debt. And so I already was able to operate out of a level of abundance because I had nothing holding me back, if that makes sense. And
yeah.
then from that point on, it did it's everyone says like the hardest income to go earn is your first 100 grand. The hardest investment to go get is your first one. So once you
Yeah.
bite the bullet on the first, it just compounded and compounded and compounded, and fortunately, like we are where we are today, not because of the money we make today. It's because I was really good with my money when I made 100 grand. And so I'm now very good with my money when I've 10x that 30x
Mm,
that, you know what I mean? And it's
yeah.
the basic principles of like, yo, if I'm gonna go invest when I have 100 grand, I'm gonna go invest when I have a million too. And it's that first door that's the hardest. It was just like, hey, get really knowledgeable about the market. I listened to Bigger Pockets in the morning. I loved that stuff. I ate it all up when I was when like back at Vivint, and I just analyzed deals. I would be in school still full time, analyze like not paying attention to Econ 3 whatever, and I'd be looking at real estate deals over and over and over and over, analyzing the deals, making it pencil, none of them penciled. Found my first property. I probably looked at 2,000 properties, and then
Mm,
I found it, and I literally text my wife, text my agent. I'm like, buy it. Like that was it. No phone call, no nothing. I'm like, hey, I send the listing, buy it. And he's like, okay, we're under contract. I was in class. I never took a look at it. I never saw it. Um, nothing. The numbers made sense because I did my homework so many times, 2,000 times before that. I found the right one. I literally text my wife, like, hey, I just bought a house. You know what I mean? She's like,
that's
what?
awesome. Yeah.
And so it's like just like on the doors or your physique or whatever, it's like it's the thousands of repetitions beforehand that all of a sudden rep or showcase the product
Yeah.
or the outcome. You know what I mean?
That's awesome, man. Okay,
So
so going back, you kind of said that your first 3 years were a little bit more like not necessarily like you weren't crushing, you weren't like the leader out there, like right off the gate. I remember when I my first week, dude, we went on this blitz and I was excited and I didn't sell a single thing with you guys and I was super down, man. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is way harder than I had anticipated. And I just remember you guys being like, hey, like you guys weren't even sweating it. You guys were like, oh, it's no big deal, man. Like you're gonna get it, you're gonna get it. And obviously, you start to pick it up and it starts to compound, like you said, and it just takes off. But for you, like what was it that kept you going and how did you build that resilience to like figure it out and become that leader? And how did you get from those 3 years of maybe just like being average, struggling, doing good, but not like exceeding. And what was that like to finally like push through?
yeah, it's if you were to ask me my first year knocking if I would want to be in the same industry doing the same thing 10 years later, I would have told you I would hope that closest bus would run me over. It's like none of us want to
Yeah,
get into this industry
true.
thinking we're going to be here 10 years later.
Yeah.
But what really took me from like that C level student to an A
Hmm.
plus plus student
Yeah.
was two things. I stopped negotiating with myself and thinking like, yo, it doesn't matter if I'm going to go lead from the front, if I'm going to go lead the pack, they're going to go do double what I do bad and they'll only do half of what I do good. And so
Yeah.
what I allow myself to do that's bad, I give them permission to double it. Right. And so I eliminated the bad habits, and habits come in twos and threes. They don't just come in singles. So
Yeah.
I eliminated justifying why I wasn't working or why I didn't feel this way or whatever, gamified my process, and all of a sudden I'm going from 10 accounts a week to 20 accounts a week, and I feel like I'm working less. It's
Mm.
more fun. I'm getting way more out of it. It's almost like the adrenaline kick is way better, and I'm just always hunting for the next one. That was one of the biggest indicators right there, was not justifying why I felt what I felt or whatever. And the second is I stopped looking to sell everybody and I started to focus on trying to go sell my client. And so I just got really good at finding, yo, who am I at when I get at bat? Who do I almost bat 1,000 at? I'm not looking to swing 200. I'm not looking to swing 300. I'm looking to bat 1,000. And there is a specific demographic or customer or indicator that I can look for to bat 1,000. So instead of prospecting to go look to bat 200, I'm spending a little more time sifting through stuff to bat 1,000. So instead of having 30 pitches a day and closing 20% of them, or whatever it is, 10% of them, I'm looking at closing six people a day and closing 100% of them. And so, kind of when you mix those two is when I really started to trend on the leaderboards, where I was like, yo, like Ty's dominating. What is he doing? Like guys were texting me, he's like, dude, you're at the top of the leaderboard again. What's the sauce? And it was like, dude, find your right client. And the hard part about that is though, is you never know what your right client unless you go through volume and variation. Like I had to go through selling like the hood rats and the black grandmas in Cleveland that I fell in love with, but also in Baton Rouge and in Washington D.C. and in Texas and California. I had to go through all those I guess demographics to find out, yo. And it took me longer than it should have, but I found my niche, and from there on, I took off. And then I just stopped justifying my behavior and how I felt, and rather than it's like, no, just go execute. It doesn't matter how you feel. Uh,
Yeah.
and from that, it took off.
Nice. So when you were like going through all of this, it sounds like you had the mindset of already like I know what door I want to get. I already know the property. I've researched this. I've been listening to podcasts. Like, did you have that mentality of like, hey, I'm making this money to invest most of it or some of it, or like how did you go about like how did you have that? I don't know if it's like that ability to like control your money or that money mindset or what was that money mindset for you at the beginning and how did you continue to keep that going and instead of like how some people get in and right they spend their money on their first car whatever it is right for you what was that mindset like and how were you unique that way?
I always have had the desire to invest. Like even when I was a kid, my parents have done well for themselves. So I was blessed, man. Like I can't say like it was all me. I was very fortunate. Came from a God-fearing family that just knew like, hey, times are tough. They're coming, whether it's now or later. Like you're gonna have to strike the check. And so in our family, we strike checks. We write checks in our family. And so if we're gonna write checks, we have to make the proper protocols now to make it to where we can always write that check later on. And I was raised with that mentality, and it was amplified with my leadership that I was around. And so I just knew it's like, yo, I want to, and combination, my after my second year, I got smacked in taxes because of
Mm,
self-employed. I didn't really know how things worked. And the moment I started buying real estate, I was like, yo, I completely wiped out my taxable liability. I'm gonna go do that again. I'm gonna go do that again. I'm gonna go do that again. It's like, dude, how do I go take that liability back down to zero? And so it almost became a game to me. How do I go increase my monthly stipend from monthly checks? That is more exciting to me to see my bank account go up $400 more this month than last month than it is to go see my active income coming in. That was way more exciting for me because I knew that's freedom. I didn't have to work for that.
mm,
Once
yeah.
I leveraged that from that point on, and so I gamified the process. Like, how do I pay the least amount of taxes, but also see that monthly income bump up every single month?
Hmm.
And I just gamified it, and that was what was fun to me. And so when I created it to make it fun, it made it way easier to go put a down payment for 40 grand here, 100 grand here, whatever it is, because it was
Hmm.
fun to me. I was like, hey,
Yeah.
this is the cost of entry to go get into this game, and now it's that cost of entry is now fun. It's not a thing I dread to go write that check. It's like, how do I go get rid as much money as possible and start at zero again. Then I'll go earn a bunch of money and I'll just go back down to zero. Earn a bunch of money, go back down to zero. The wealthiest people that I know are the ones who earned money and then took it back down to basically zero and had just done it more times than everyone else.
Mm,
So it just became a game.
yeah. Dang, that's gold. Okay. So yeah, it came from,
And I think
go ahead.
I think I'd be remiss. Sorry to cut you off. I think I'd also be remiss to not mention, like, I also had to have the right partner in this game. Like, my wife has been with me the entire time, and I told her, I'm like, hey, back end's coming. No Amazon. Like, we are living off Vivint, like meals. Like no, nothing. I want nothing coming to like we are spending zero money. And she was like, yeah,
Okay.
I'm game. And so she trusted that process too. We're like, hey, I trust Ty and his intuition enough. He's not going to go screw us on our money. And so she's been a war partner. It's like, dude, I can go to war with her. It's not like I love her. She loved my life. She's beautiful, mother of my kids. I will go to war with her because there have been things that we've gone through. Like people made fun of us for buying a duplex, living in one side and hearing the other couple screw on the other side of the wall. I'm like, oh, this is a really bad lifestyle. Like I don't want to hear them having fun. But it's like there is a time and a season to where this will pass. And we just put ourselves purposely in those positions where it's like, yo, like this time will pass and then we're gonna move and we're gonna have that income and just gonna compound and compound and compound. And so it's like it's a
Yeah.
myriad of a lot of decision, but it's like, dude, find the right partner, surround yourself with the right people, and gamify the process, and it just becomes way more fun.
Okay, that's good. That's very interesting. So there was a time, well, first of all, a couple things you said. So the taxes thing, being self-employed, like you had that year where it's like, dang, you just had that tax where it just kind of waxed you and you're like, all right, that's not happening again. And it sounds like you figured it out from there to like, hey, I'm going to invest that money so that my taxable income is lower, which is amazing. And then you said there was a time where your wife like met together and said, hey, we're not spending. We're saving. We have a plan that is bigger than Amazon, and we're gonna go through this together. I love that.
Yeah.
That is. I feel like that sometimes that's the things that people don't talk about, like that part of like, hey, like you really went through it with each other and put things off that delayed the gratification. I remember, man, you were always house hacking, man. You were living in one and renting out the other. And I used to think, man, this guy is smart. Like this guy knows what he's doing. Like he gets it, right? And I think we all can see that now from where you've got to, you know, based on those choices at the beginning. So that's awesome. How was that time like with going through that with the saving the money and kind of going to war with your wife where it was like, hey, I know that there's going to be a reward at the end of this. Like, what was your mindset at that time to make it worth it to keep you committed to that? Like, we're not going to spend a bunch of money. We're going to be very, it sounds like you were a little bit frugal at that time. correct me if I'm wrong, but what was your mindset at that time? Like, how did you guys, put together a plan to do that? And what would you recommend for guys that are getting into sales or, I don't know, coming out of college, maybe like us and got into sales and how do they have that mindset so that they're set up in the future, maybe like you've been able to do?
Yeah, I think there's two answers to this. And one is what I did, which was go find a way to go double your income every year. It doesn't matter if you're in construction, it doesn't matter if you're cleaning toilets, it doesn't matter if
Hmm.
you're sweeping floors. It doesn't matter. Like find a way to go double your income every single year. Naturally, the lifestyle creep is going to be the major temptation. It's like, hey, I just went from 50 grand to 100 grand. Now I can go double my payment. Now I can go double my square footage. Like, no, 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 no. Hold off on that for like 2 to 3 more years. Trust the process and everything. And you'll thank yourself 2 to 3 years later that you did.
Yeah.
Double your income. It's not like my wife
Mm.
and I were making bad money. Like I was making
Yeah.
150 grand to 300 grand a year as a 24-year-old kid. I say
Awesome.
kid. It's like, dude, I felt like a kid. And so it's like,
Yeah.
dude, my income was the top 1%, but my spending was below the bottom 99th. You know what I mean? And so
Hmm.
it just created this gap to where this is our fun money. Not meaning we spend it for fun. This is where I'm in the game. You know, I'm like
Yeah.
I am able to go double down. Like I got everything on black. And it's like, hey, like I've got all of my cards on the table. Let's go make the most of the best hand that we can, and we're gonna rinse and repeat this next year. We're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it again. So that is what I would recommend for guys. In my situation, I didn't have a crazy social media following. I had a good network around where I lived and at college and stuff.
Hmm.
Social media wasn't really my game, and so if you don't have a social media following or anything like that, or don't really plan to. Like I was always kind of the person like, no, I'm kind of just gonna go do me. Right? I'd rather see an athlete than hear one. Right? It's like I don't need to showcase my life. Like I just want to go kind of go do my thing. So I just created that gap as wide as I could, and I played with that money, and I invested in the right places where I had studied, so I knew it was a win every time. And
Mm.
then, but on the flip side, there's some of my guys now that have a completely different mentality, and they are making leaps and bounds bigger moves than I did at their age. And they're like, hey, we're spending every dollar we can on, I would argue, like quote unquote, and part of my friends like stupid shit. And it was like,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, like, why are you buying, homie, you're 21 years old. You don't need a McLaren. Why in the world are you doing that? In the right place. And I was talking to Jeff Mendez. He's one of the VPs at Viv, and he's a mentor of mine, great friend. And he taught me a simple principle recently, actually. He said, like, hey, everyone talks about there's liabilities and there are assets, that we need
Hmm.
to buy assets and limit liabilities. It's like, no one talks about the third category. I'm like, what are you talking about, third category? He's like, there's tools. How do you, what did he say? Tools of engagement, essentially, where it's like, if I buy this, what this allow me to buy more assets later on down the road. You know what I mean? Like Henry Ford
Interesting.
said, if I end up not buying a tool, needing a tool and not buying it, I'm eventually going to pay for it later on anyway. And when I started to adjust my mindset, where you got to adjust with the times and the currency. And right now we live in a social media age to where my guys are thriving on social media. And if they're that car that has a $2,000 payment, which when I was 24 years old, I'm like, that is so stupid. That is dumb.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if that one car gains an influence of 200 people, and you're able to go negotiate better deals, and you're able to recruit, build, train, promote, and just have better networks, that $2,000 a month payment may be one of the best investments you'll ever make. I don't think it's for everybody, and for me it wasn't, and so like I had to go the other route. But
Hmm.
some of my guys, their net worth is outpacing mine, and they have a very different strategy about it. You just gotta, there's not one right way to skin the cat, you know. And
Yeah.
so it's like, hey, play to your talents, play to your strengths. What is it? If you don't have a following, I probably recommend the first route. If you
Hmm.
have a following and you can go turn that into currency, then maybe the second round's more for you. Like I'm
Yeah.
still blown away by the different operations and tools of production that guys are using. I'm like, that's crazy. And that's actually ingenious. I was maybe too timid, or I thought it was too risky, and it's working for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
ultimately, like what ends up in your bank account is the ultimate dictator of, was that the right move financially or not?
Yeah.
Period. And
Interesting.
they're making more money than I was at that age. And I'm like, I can't even argue. Like for my person, when I was 24, that was not the right move. But when they're 24 and they're doing this, and their net worth is outpacing mine, I can't argue against that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Tension is kind of like that new currency, with being able to recruit and just yeah, I could see that for sure. So for you though, when it came to like money back then or even now, like with your habits and whatnot, were you the type of guy that was like tracking your finances? Were you like pretty like meticulous? Were you more of the type that was like I don't know, abundant or just like hey, like I'm gonna save, or did you have separate accounts? Is there any like tactical things that you'd say like really helped you to stick to that plan? Because it is hard. Like when you're making more money, things creep up. You're like, I want the watch or I want this or whatever it is that I don't know you quote unquote like. For you, is there anything that you'd say helped you or systems or processes that you follow?
Yeah. So here's the sauce. You ready?
Sure.
So I teach all of our first year guys this when they ask me about money. I try to every like most Fridays put out some kind of financial concept for our dudes out in the field slaving away. And dude, I like the watches. I like the cars. Like, dude, I went on, like, on my mission on Wall Street. I was like, yo, that's an $80,000 watch. That's 150,000. I love that stuff. Still do. I love all that. But there's a time and a place for all of it. And the sauce is this is I teach all my guys that you need to split everything into buckets. 60%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%. So 60, 10, 10, 10, 10. 60 goes to your living. Like that is your burn, right? That's food, that's gas, that's maintenance, that's your phone bill. 60% of whatever you make, so if you make $1,000, $600 is going to life. You know what I mean? And so don't outspend that. If you only make $1,000 a month, you shouldn't be spending more than $600 a month on everything else that keeps you alive. You know what I mean? That's your burn rate. Then 10% goes into emergency savings, and you need to build up that nest egg. So that way, uh, worst case scenario, emergencies happen, you have a fund. When emergencies happen, most people stress financially and emotionally for it. If we prep, we only have to stress emotionally. And I would argue, even when that happens, when you take away the financial stress, the emotional stress usually goes away too. So you don't need to suffer unnecessarily. So put away that 10%. And once that 10% is done, then you can start diving into the next, add that 10% to the next 10, which is investment. A lot of people are like, well, shouldn't you build the emergency savings before you go investing? Ideally, yes, but the process is I want you to just get used to the thought of putting money and not touching it.
Mm,
Putting money away, don't touch it. Like it's almost like a muscle. It's like it doesn't matter if it's 10% or 90%. Get used to working that muscle really early to where it's like, hey, when I make 1,000, 100, I'm acting like that 100. I'm never going to see it again.
got it.
So that way you're mentally living on 90%, right? So you have your first 60 of like just your normal maintenance stuff. Your next 10 is your emergency fund. Now, once your emergency fund is high enough, you no longer need to put into the emergency fund, right? You have 6 months of whatever. You can start putting into your investing. That bucket will stay there for a long time. So
Yeah.
whenever your emergency savings 10%, you're just going to take that 10 and boost up your investing. So now you're investing 20% of your income. Follow me so far?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. We got 20% left. The next 10 is give it away. Give it away. If you're faithful, you're asked to give 10%. If you're not, I would still exercise that muscle. I have never given away more than I've received, ever. It's never happened in my life. And a lot of things we have, I could credit to us being able to give, right? And you'll never
Yeah.
regret it. Some of the best feelings you ever have is like those checks are the most gratifying to write. Someone's in need and you can take care of it. And it's not because you made a lot of money. It's because you were disciplined and you were able to help someone else. That's a cool feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So give away 10 and then have fun with 10. Like, don't forget to reward yourself along the way with the 10. Now, when you adopt this 60, 10, 10, 10, 10 lifestyle, it encourages two different things. It encourages the right spending behavior. But if I want to go buy a 200 pair of shoes, I love shoes. Like love a lot of things. If I want to go buy more shoes, and I know I can only spend 10% of my money to go buy fun stuff, which shoes are a part of that fun category, then I need to go find a way to make more money so I'm not spending more than 10%. I'm just increasing the amount that that 10% is. So if
Hmm.
I'm doubling my income every single year, year over year, if I go from 100 grand to 200 grand, my fun burn just went from 10 grand to 20 grand. And you can have a lot of fun every year with 20 grand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
That's
the
awesome.
ratios stay the same, but you're just increasing it. And so it holds you to the system of like, yo, this is where the money goes. But it also encourages you to think if I can only spend 10% of my income on fun stuff and I want to buy a lot of fun stuff, that means I need to find a better way to go increase my income.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's great. That's money. I like that a lot. That is very simple, but it makes sense. And I love that you said you just start with that right away and then you'll build the habit. And it's like, I wish I would have just thought of it that way. Sometimes, like I was like, oh, once I get to this amount of money, I'll start doing that. But it's so true that if you don't start when you don't have money, you're not going to do it when you do or when a big check comes in, right? Like, ah, man. So that is very good, and I definitely seen that for me. Okay. So when it comes to your fitness, man, like you're a fit dude. I love fitness. I've trained some dudes and a lot of guys in door to door actually got them fit, got them in the best shape of their life. But for you, man, how has that translated? Like, talk about maybe times when you haven't been in the best shape, maybe times you have. Like, what have you seen? How does it translate to business? Because I'm always telling guys, like, when you get in shape, you're going to make more money. You're going to have more opportunities. I don't care what people say that, oh, you can be fat and you can sell a lot of people. Like, I don't buy it, man. Like, I really believe that you got to have your fitness in check if you want to continue leveling up. But what has been your experience, maybe times when you felt like hasn't been a priority and times it has, and kind of explained, I guess, that ideology for our listeners.
Yeah, it's the ultimate business card. It's like, dude, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Everyone says don't judge a book by its cover. It's like, no, if you're in leadership and you're an influence, that doesn't apply to you. Everyone's judging you. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so you take advantage of it. It's like if someone's going to judge you, you might as well make sure that judgment leads positive rather than negative. So take advantage of that thought process. It's the ultimate business card because if I see some jack dude, I know there is time, there is tension, there is discipline, and all of that compounded to equate to what that dude looks like. That's not a car can't do that. A watch can't do that. The Jays can't do that. A big house can't do that. And so like those are things that money can buy. A fit bod is something that money can't buy. You know what I mean? And so if I see someone, I'm like, yo, like it's very rare for me to go find someone that of personal excellence when it comes to a physique that isn't also dominating one way or another in other aspects of life. Like I said, habits come in doubles and triples. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? And so
Yeah.
and and backing so after wrapping this back up, my wife gave birth to our first year old or our first child. His name's James.
Hmm.
I don't know if you remember this, but
Do
this
I
might have been a
totally
little
do.
bit after the fact.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, so she couldn't walk for 9 months. So she went into the hospital. We were like stoked. We're like, yo, we're about to have our first kid. Walking in like high on life, walk out. My wife's in a wheelchair. We think this is a permanent thing. We have no idea that this is going to be a 9 month thing. So I'm like coming up with the ramps from my house, and I'm thinking like I'm having, and don't get me wrong, like there's a lot of people that are worse off than that. You know what I mean? But in my mind space right there, I was like, this is an adjustment we're going to make for a long time.
Yeah.
And part of that, there was one night where she couldn't walk, so I basically was holding her, and we went on a date. My in-laws were watching our baby, and it was cold outside, and I slipped on some ice with her in my arms, and I herniated my L4, L5, L5S1. And I've never been in that much pain in my life. Rode dirt bikes, played ball, did a lot of like, dude, like I love activity and everything that comes with its injuries. I've never felt that much pain in my life, and it got to the point to where whenever I would just move, I'd wake up, everything hurt, and for 4 years I became a victim of that. And
Mm.
I say victim because I put that on myself. I was not better. Like I lost the game. I made good money, right? I had a cool car. I had decent influence,
Hmm.
like we were talking about earlier. You can get some of those things, but I was miserable. I had no energy. I was living off energy drinks. I had horrible sleep. My diet was awful. And so, like I said, habits compound. So if like I did not feel like being active, that transcended the way I ate, the way I took care of my body, and it just was a downhill spiral. I started getting to other stuff I shouldn't have been getting into, and that I knew better. And I was like, yo, like this is crazy. It took me 4 years to go make this about face, thinking like, oh, maybe I need surgery, maybe I need this. I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to be in pain, I might as well be pain in the gym. Like I'm already in pain. This sucks. I hate this. So I might as if I'm going to be in pain, I might as well be in pain at the gym. And my thought process was, if I can't like work on my nerves, right? Because nerves are very difficult down there to work on, and it's usually a lifetime injury. I might as well make everything else around me strong. it's like almost like wearing a back brace. Like if that stuff happens, you have to wear a back brace to kind of sustain. I'm like, yo, what if I just build my own like internal back brace with my physique? I become strong. And at that point, I just started to everything changed. I started to go to the gym. I started to feel better. Started to eat better. My test, my I took my test from like 280 to 650, and it just adjusted everything. That was our year in Lubbock 2020,
Mm,
and everything flipped. Everything flipped. And so
yeah.
at that point, I was like, yo, if I don't use this, I will lose it, and I was miserable for 4 years because of back pain. I was a worse father. I was a worse provider. I couldn't sell as much. I was always in pain. I was on narcotics and ibuprofen every single day. My kidneys probably hated me. Um, dude, it's just compounded like crazy. And so when I look back on it now, it's become a love language for me to go into the gym, see the physique, see the changes, have a challenge. Like, oh, I want to get to this body fat means I've got to be disciplined. I've got to eat the right things. There's times to have fun, but there's times to not have so much fun. And I became a student of the game. Just like in real estate, just like in sales, just like in a lot of other things, I became a student of how does the body work? Why do my nerves hurt the way they do? Interesting. So if I go do this, I should be able to help that. And it started to help. If I want to put on more weight, that's how I do it. And so it became an equation, not an emotion. Just like real estate, just like school, just like sales, just like business, I took that same discipline. If I want to go know a lot of stuff and become a master or student of my craft, and I adopted that into the fitness game. And from that point on, it became fun. Like I fall asleep. If I'm watching stuff or I'm consuming content, my Instagram feed is the most inspiring feed that you'll ever see. It's
Yeah.
golf, recipes, fitness, like how to become a better dad, stoic thought processes and philosophies. Like it's not BS. Yo, like I want to learn from the best in every category I want to go exceed in. And fitness just became a part of that to where I became a student of the game, learned it, find out what I needed to eat, what to get rid of. My back still hurts, but at least it hurts way less, and I feel way better along the way.
Man, that is yeah, that's a powerful story, man. I relate to the fact that like I feel like when you go through some sort of surgery or some sort of like bad injury even. I said this on my last podcast like a week ago, but there's almost this gratitude of like I'm grateful to go to the gym. That is my motivation. Like I had two ACL injuries and like people are like, why are you always in shape? Like, why don't you, like enjoy or whatever? I'm just grateful to be able to do it. Like, that's why I keep going. It's really nothing more than that other than just gratitude that I can go to the gym, that I can do it. Because there was a time when I couldn't and it was miserable and it was terrible. And it's like, if you don't, I don't know. So that's kind of the place I come from. And it sounds like you had a little bit of that too, like where it's like you know what it's like to not have it, and so it's almost like I got to take care of myself. Would you agree there?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it positively affects every aspect of life, man. Like I've had more spiritual experiences at like in business and at the gym than I have at church. You know what I mean? And I go to church
Mm-hmm.
like as often as I can every week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
it's like if we don't want to get into the nitty gritty details, like discipline, disciple are the same Latin roots. You know what I mean? And so if I want to go become a disciple of something big, you have to just develop the discipline of the person you're following. It became that love, that discipline. But you're absolutely right. It's once you get it and it becomes that high and you love it because of that gratitude of where you've been,
Yeah.
it feeds the fire of that, like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
I'm never gonna go back. Like it's
No
only
way.
up here
Yeah.
word from here. I've got to take care of this. But you also get the gratifying like side stuff too, like the head nods at the gym is like, yo, you kind of made it. But at the same time, it's everyone respects you more because it is your ultimate business card that you take around with you everywhere you go. Like there's gonna be nothing more gratifying than when my kid comes back to me. It's like, yeah, I know that my dad can beat up your dad, or my dad's stronger than your dad. It's like men size
Absolutely.
each other up every which way we go. That's why I say it's a business card. So that way, when I see a guy that's jacked, I it's like, yo, like not can I immediately go into business with him, but it's like, yo, I want to go see what that would look like because if I was a betting man, I'd bet on him over him like 10 out of 10.
Absolutely, dude. That's awesome. Yeah. I think every guy in their 20s and their 30s should just, you know, lose the body fat, get lean once, gain some muscle, but you just got to get lean at least one time where you're like excited about where you got, a little bit and you have a little bit of that pride because it does translate in confidence in other areas. I totally agree. What would you say in terms of routine there? Any tips on that do you have a certain, I don't know, certain things that you do, either morning routines or a certain workout routine, or is it the 80/20 rule? Like anything that you would say there with fitness that could help somebody?
Yeah, the most motivated times I go to the gym are the times I do the workouts I want to do least. So
Mm,
it's not like we all wake up jazzed every morning. Like I'm so excited. Like, dude, I'm grateful to go. But you and I can both admit, like, there are days where I'm like not dragging in, but I'm like, yo, like I got no energy today. I don't even know if I'm gonna go work out. Those are the
mhm,
days where like I think every girl wants to work on their legs and look physique, like look that physique. Every dude wants to work out arms and chest. Like, dude, that's just naturally what we want that taper, you know? And so
100%.
the most motivated days I go, I'm hitting legs. I'm hitting the stuff I normally don't want to go hit, right? Because I'm the most motivated. So that way I know later on it's like I don't really feel it, but I am hitting arms today because I already hit everything else. So yeah, I can go. So I kind of just like psychologically biohacked my way into doing the harder stuff when I'm the most motivated. And then the other stuff will come because I like doing those anyway. Start tracking stuff.
Mm,
Like make it predictable, make it an equation, not an emotion. The moment I started to realize like I have to eat how much, like dude, like we played ball and but we were always told what to do. You know what I mean?
totally.
It's not like we had to go figure it out. Someone figured it out for us and kind of helped us a little bit. It was the first time I'm like, wait, yo, wait. Like, I gotta eat how much? Like,
Yeah,
that's bonkers. Like, if I want to go put on 30 pounds of muscle over this amount of time, that's a crazy amount of money. That's a lot of weight. I've got to eat how many calories? That's asinine. That's crazy. You know? And so start tracking, stay consistent. I had someone held myself accountable to for 2 years. He's an IFBB pro
nice.
and it was awesome. It just to kind of, I didn't need him. It was more so I needed someone to stay accountable to. And as a coach or whatever it is, like with my guys, they are accountable to me and their production. So we always do better when we're held accountable, regardless of whether you are just getting started or where you've been doing something for 10 years. Find
Mhm.
accountability. Accountability is a superpower. Start tracking stuff, stay consistent, figure out your autonomy, figure out what you need. Everybody's different. All of us come with different sets of genes. Every one of us come with different sets of our buildup. So find a way to go, what works best for you isn't going to work best for everybody. But again, that comes from volume and variation. No different than looking at real estate deals, no different than knocking 1,000 doors, no different. It's like these are principles that don't change. That's why if I see a Jack dude, I'm like, hey, you could probably do well with what I do. Or like, hey, he'd probably be really good at real estate. Why? Those things like equities and quality that last a lifetime, so is winning. If you win in one category, those habits go in doubles and triples. And it's easy to go win in other categories of life when but fitness, like faith and fitness, family, like finances, get those four done, and 12 other aspects of your life are going to take off.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's great stuff. I completely agree. Tracking, knowing what's going on, getting somebody to hold you accountable. I continually get coaches, even though I know what to do, but it's just good to have that accountability and stay on track in any area. If that's sales, I mean, the same thing, totally. Get someone that can hold you accountable. What for you, I guess, wrapping up the fitness thing, I'm curious on family. So you're a father of three kids, correct? You have three kids now?
Yes,
Am I
sir.
right? Three. Okay. So talk to me on this. The idea, the typical thing, like how do you balance family, the things you just said, family, faith, investing, business, like how do you quote unquote balance? What is your perspective on that? How can guys get out? Honestly, I think that people need to get out of the mentality of quote unquote balance, but there is a certain aspect of like being able to keep all of them up, all the balls up. So what's your take on that?
Man, there's so many even like quotes that come to mind that I've gravitated to. It's like you can have it all, but you can't have it all at once, right? Scott
Mm,
Galloway.
that's good.
Awesome. It's like there's no such thing as there's no such thing as life work balance, but there is life work harmony,
Mm,
right? And there's so many things there where like again, I think it all starts we're gonna go grab like right to the grassroots. If you don't marry the right person, you might as well go chalk up the white flag and go find the right one right now. And so like make sure your base is what you need it to be, man. Because like I said, like my wife couldn't walk for 9 months. Thankfully, she recovered. She got better. She's like she can everything's back. She had two more kids, no more hiccups,
amazing.
thankfully.
Amazing.
parenting is harder than business. Parenting is harder than fitness. Parenting is harder than it's all those other things are going to go lead to your habits of your parenting. It's like, dude, I am. Our oldest is diagnosed. He's neurodivergent. He's autistic. And for me, as a like, hey man, like I solve my problems by putting in more time into the problem and figuring it out. It doesn't really work that way. It doesn't work that way. My wife has been able to go do so much for him, and I'm kind of like riding by the coattails, like hanging on. Like, how in the world I had this view, and how do I go become a father for some of my child that is so beautiful, so awesome. I love James, and he's quirky, he's fun, he's unique, he's awesome, but it's very different. And so you don't know what ball's gonna be thrown into your court. You have no idea what rules you got to go play by. But I would challenge anybody who doesn't have kids, take on the inevitables of life before you have kids, so you don't have to worry about them as much later on. Right? That's faith. I would argue that's an inevitable, whether you choose not to have one or have one. Argue it either one is a belief system. And so get ingrained in that. Your finances, you're going to have to deal with finances one way or another. Whether you deal with it today or you deal with it in 10 years, you can stress about it today or stress about it in 10 years. I chose to stress about it now.
Yeah.
And then fitness, same thing, because all of these things are going to compound over time to where go take care of those headaches now so that way you can invest your time and your resources into your kids and have a lot more harmony that way when that comes, and you have a war partner that is able to pick up the slack and you're able to pick up her slack and you're able to balance each other out,
Yeah.
because parenting is not easy. Parenting is tough, and outside of having um, a different thought process with my oldest head, right, being autistic, and I'm still trying to learn. You never know what life's going to throw at you, and as far as like getting that work life quote unquote balance, there is no balance. There are days where I'm at the office 120 hours a week, and then there are other
Hmm.
times where I'm able to be there 20 hours a week and spend the rest with my kids and ensuring everything's okay. And so it's
Hmm.
about finding the right partner, becoming the right person, taking care of the inevitables before kids come along. If you have kids, it doesn't mean you get to go like deny that other stuff. It just means that your house has to be in order a little bit more, aligned now than like you didn't have 10 years or 5 years before to get your house somewhat in order. And yeah, go on from there. But the wealthiest people that I know, like, dude, the guys that make the most amount of money, the wealthiest
Hmm.
people that I know have kids, have wives, have families. So don't let that deter you. Don't let that be like, oh, I'm gonna have a family when I do this. Like, no, you'll figure it out. Like, your ultimate ability is to figure it out along the way. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so just know with that confidence is like that is an utmost confidence that I have been instilled with, for my leaders, for my people, for my friends. It's like, yo, Ty, like he's gonna have something happen to him, but he's gonna figure it out. Like, I may not be the smartest, I may not be the best looking, I may not be the most jacked, I may not be the best dad or whatever. I'm not gonna be the best at all things. But it's like, yo, it's my job to figure it out. So the going into every situation with confidence, knowing like, yeah, I don't know, but I'm gonna figure it out and everything's gonna be okay.
Good. Man, that's really good. Yeah, I like the idea of, man, start with the base, get the most important things in place, and then you'll be aligned when you do have kids and when more stuff is thrown at you. That's great advice. I think that is super true. For you, man, like I have a lot of more questions and I could go a lot longer. I want to respect your time and make sure that I just have a few more questions. We're gonna go like a rapid. I just got
Yeah,
like a few questions
run
I
it,
want
we're
to hit
good.
and then we'll wrap it up. But one thing dude, so first of all, I love your Instagram, man. Follow him, Ty Fox on Instagram. I don't know, is that your handle on Instagram, Ty Fox?
Tyro
That's your
J
name? Or-
Fox. Yeah, it's
Okay.
full name.
Follow him on Instagram. I loved your Finance Friday back in the day. I don't know if you still do that, but he's got some great stuff on
I need to
there.
start again.
You do, man. I used to love those when they came out. He's a man. If you're looking into get into door to door, if you're looking into getting the solar space, like he's a guy I would definitely recommend reaching out to, talking to. If you're in the solar space and you think it's dead, like all the people out there right now that are hating on it, I promise you, follow Ty Fox and what they're doing. It is not dead. Would you agree with that?
No, it's totally dead in the water. Don't come over. Don't believe a thing I say. Get out of the industry. You don't want to be here anymore. No, it's just we're gobbling up market share, and
That's right.
it's
That's right.
uh it's a good time. A lot of companies, dude. Like I said, dude, it's how you do one thing is how you do everything, or how you should do everything. Business
Yep.
is no different, man. Like
Yeah.
we've been able to withstand a lot of storms that would sink most ships and most companies and most people
Hmm.
because I've been able to go look at my leaders. I've been able to look at the guys I work with and just know it's like, yo, like your family's good, everything's fine, cool. The bases are taken care of, so we can go all in on making sure this is a problem we don't have to deal with,
Nice.
or we can deal with together very efficiently. That would sink most other people. There's a lot of other people out there that would have crumbled with as much pressure as we had to go outlast. Most people would have quit along the way, and it's not because like we do have this mentality like we are better than everybody. We have to have that mentality. That
Have
has
to.
to be your goal. You have to have that thought process,
100%.
and it's helped us a ton. We've done okay.
It's awesome. No, absolutely, man. You guys are, it's amazing. And like you said, there's a lot of people that have crumbled, that businesses that have fallen out of the solar industry. So it is cool to see that you guys are still growing, still year over year, just compounding. Okay, so a couple questions. So you've made some posts about school and college, and I just want to hear your perspective for, let's say you're in your 20s or whatever, and you're just finishing high school, got home for a mission, whatever the case may be. What's your advice on college? Should you go? Should you not go? Is it worth your time? Like what are your, I guess, your quick synopsis there? Because I kind of have mine, but I want to hear what yours is as well.
Great question. If you know what you want to go do, one of my best friends is a software engineer at Microsoft. He had to get a degree for what he did, but he's wanted to do that for 15 years. So
Hmm.
for him, like, dude, like, I think half the stuff you have to go through is BS, but do you know what you have to go through? Like, go get it. And for him, it made sense. Works for like, and he does very well for himself. He is like one of my best friends. And so it worked for him. But on the flip side, I would argue if you don't know what you want to do yet, volume and variation. Like we've said that multiple times on this call, volume and variation, but go deal with the inevitables. Like instead of going and I went to BYU. I
Hmm.
loved and I cherished my experience at BYU. I still didn't graduate. I'm like, it's a big thing. I'm like, hey, like you don't have to graduate to succeed. It's about the lessons behind the paper, not the paper, you know? And so I loved my time. I will always cherish my time when I was at BYU and in college. My and I would recommend like that was great for me. Go deal with the inevitables, like I mentioned prior. It doesn't really make much sense if you're going to go and take chemistry 101 if you're not going to go ever pick up a beaker to go use that. If you could be spending that same time learning about finances and fitness and faith, you're going to deal with it, regardless of whether you're a dentist, whether you go to the NFL, whether you go into sales, or whether you're a stay-at-home mom. Those are things you're going to have to deal with. So learn about them. So learn how to be a better steward of how to go be a better parent, how to learn about your fitness, how to take care of your faith, how to make more money, how to deal with the inevitables. That's a much better ROI than spending that credit money on chemistry or biology. Or I'm not knocking those things. Those are very good things
Yeah.
for. I'm a believer that all of us should try to get as much knowledge as possible in this life, period.
Hmm.
However, the knowledge that you choose, there are advantages that you will have over others because you chose different things to go into. The inevitables, I would go study those first. And if that gives you an extra year to decide really kind of what you want to do, it wasn't wasted time. It's because you're dealing with the inevitables, but it also gives you another year of volume and variation. Hey, go shadow this, go see this, go try this, go do that. It gives you 365 days to go try other things to find out what am I good at? Again, don't follow what you want to do. Go follow what you're good at. My buddy happened to have a merge of both. He was good at what he did and he wanted to work for Microsoft. He's one out of 100 that do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but he was
Yeah.
really good. And so go follow your talent. Don't necessarily follow your dream. It's like, no, go build your dream with the talent that you have developed. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
if you do that, a lot of my friend, like not a lot of my friends, the people that other than my friend I was referencing went and got their dream job, it quickly turned into a nightmare because it wasn't something that they fell in love with anymore. They almost put it on this pedestal of this instead of working on their talents that they love. Like, dude, when you get good at something, you naturally love to do it more and more and more. Even if, like, when I first started knocking doors, I was not great. I put in enough volume to where I started to get good at it. Then I started to like it. Then I started to fall in love with the game. Then I started to increase my income.
Mm.
And so, and that was the best thing I needed at that time in my life. I thought I knew what my dream job was. I wouldn't trade my lifestyle for anyone that I know on Wall Street. Not one. And with the family that I have, with the fitness faith, all the other stuff we've gone over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
man,
awesome.
college is awesome. Don't get me wrong, but don't mix college with education. Education is peak, and if you have to go through college to get it, I don't think you have to. But in specific cases, like if you're pulling my teeth or if you're going to perform surgery, please, I want you well educated.
Hmm.
But if you don't know what you want to go do yet, focus on the inevitables first. And then if you still don't know what you want to do after that, spend your time with the inevitables and then try to figure out your talent and then go curate the talent.
That's great. That's a great perspective. I like the answer a lot. Super true, right? Like it's not really just a black and white answer. It's depends, and at the end of the day, like I had a very similar story, right? Like I didn't finish college either. I got right up to the end, right? I had like a year left. I still get emails every other month, like, hey, come back to the University of Utah, finish it out. And I'm like, hey, I'm good. I'm good for right now. Like I'm happy. I'm happy with what I'm doing as well. And I'm grateful for the sales opportunity that got me going and keeps me going, right? So I love that answer. Okay, a couple more questions. What's one book you'd recommend for guys to be successful? I don't know. What's just one or two good books that you'd say, hey, these ones have changed my life.
Wow, that's two things. Not to like, there's a simple answer, right? And then there Scott Galloway came out with one of the best books this last year. That's fantastic.
Okay.
There's a lot of philosophy books that I would actually recommend over business, over finances, over all that stuff. Like I
Mm,
like Rich Dad Poor Dad. I like Richest Man in Babylon. I like Outwitting the Devil. I like that
yep.
stuff. My
Yeah.
first recommendation, if you're young and you're looking into, hey, what book? Scrap the book. Go look at your Instagram feed. Go curate your Instagram feed first before you go
Mm,
find a book you want to go read. Because
mm. Interesting.
naturally, it's like Quinn, you tell me, do you spend more time on social media or in the books?
In the books.
I spend more time on social media. I like 10 out of 10. I do like, and so
Yeah.
that's for me. So
Wait,
if
you
you're
mean
not,
you
if
mean like
like,
just reading or
yeah, just
like all
leisurely,
time?
like leisurely.
Dude, Instagram for sure. Social
Yeah,
media. Sorry.
100%.
Yeah,
And
I didn't know what you meant by that that question.
and so like
Yeah,
maybe let me phrase it this way.
that's true.
Is
That's
it
very true.
easier or is your mind already adapted to pick up a book or pick up your phone and look at Instagram?
Social media. Social media. 100%.
Exactly. And so I'm not disregarding books. Like I've got a library like just behind my phone looking at my library. I love books. I read over this year I'm probably like 80 books in. Like I listen and I read a lot. I love to read. I love to and gain as much information as I can. But if you're just starting out, go develop the habit of reading 20 minutes a night. It's awesome. It's the best habit you'll go develop at a young age. However, go curate your Instagram feed first. Don't look at the girls.
Like that.
Don't look at the other stuff. Like go follow finances, go follow fitness, go follow faith. I love to golf. I'm not the best at it, but I love it, and so I'm following golf stuff. I love to grill, like for my I make dinners for my family, so I'm following Traeger recipes and this stuff. Like I'm curating. If your Instagram reflects the lifestyle you don't want, curate that first. So it's like,
Mm,
yo, you should look at your Instagram feed, and it is a revolving door of a goal. Like people say, like you should have a goal board or whatever. I don't have a goal board. I have a scrolling board that every time I look on my feed, I'm inspired to want to go create and go do. It's like follow the right people, follow the right influences. I would
that's
recommend
great.
that first,
That's great.
and after that. After that, like once you start really diving into the books, Habits of Highly Effective People is awesome,
Hmm.
really good stuff. My recommendation is very unique when it comes to a book. The first book I would recommend to read, sounds silly, is Lord of the Rings. Crazy, man. Let me explain. Let me explain. Because it is one of the first books that I read that curated my love for reading. And so because I fell in love with reading, I now read more books and it's more fun. I read 80 books a year, 50 books a year, 100 books a year because I
Yeah.
love to read. But if I never learned how to love to read, I never would be doing those things anyway. So for me, the most influential books in my life, I've got a lot of like really good business and psychology and philosophy books that I listen to all the time. But my favorite books I would recommend to everybody is get one that makes it to where you want to pick it up, man. Like develop the love for reading. Mine was when I was a kid, Harry Potter, Aragon, that kind of stuff. I love living in the fantasy world.
Hmm.
Now I read Lord of the Rings once a year because it reinvigorates my love for reading. And I think it's more important about the process rather than the product. And for me, that curated my process to become a lifetime student, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, that was a
I
great.
bet you. You weren't
That
expecting
I was not ready for that. I was not ready for that. Two answers I wasn't ready for. First, create like get your Instagram dialed in, who you want to be, like show up on there. That's your business card. Like I love that answer. And then like you're scrolling, we're all scrolling. Like let's be real. You know, we're all on social media. Make sure you're scrolling with people that are inspiring, things that are inspiring to you so that you're looking at those things, not just I don't know, too much random stuff, right? I love that. And then, you know, your love for reading start with a book that you actually enjoy, so you do keep reading. I think
Yep.
that's a great way of saying it. Cool. What's are you a morning workout guy or a night?
I will never work out in the afternoon. Yeah,
Yes,
like
okay.
if I'm like sick or something, I probably worked out in the afternoon like 3 times in my life. Like I am miserable when I'm there. I'm like I feel
Oh my
like I'm
gosh.
already behind.
Yeah, I feel that.
In the morning,
100%.
for years, it was like the 4:30, 5:30, or 4:35 a.m. routine while I was walking in. With kids, that's adjusted a little bit, but it's still early. Like when it's dark, I'm up.
Yeah, that's great. What's one thing most people get wrong about money?
You need to become worthy of it.
Mm,
You need to become worthy of it. If you were, if even if like from a biblical standpoint, when we learned about the parable of the talents, right? Most people interpret that as like, oh, I'm talented, like I'm a good writer, so I should write more. It's like, well, from the direct lineage, talents were actually currency. And so it's you have to go develop the ability to where, dude, you're a shepherd of your money. You're a
mm,
shepherd of your tools. Like money is a tool, nothing more, nothing less. We get emotionally attached to a number. It's stupid. It's so dumb. Like
yeah,
think of that. Like that's
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah,
However, it's an emotional number. And so it's like, how are you a master of your money, or is your master or your money a master of you? Who's the shepherd? Who's the sheep? It's like
mm,
treat it like your flock, treat it like your own, and be worthy of it. And that starts in the mind, right? That starts
yep,
up here. It's very hard to find someone that is always down with money or complaining about money, that they never have enough. They make fun of those who do. It's very hard to go look at those people and see that they have a lifestyle you want to go emulate. I've never met one. I've never
yeah.
met one.
Mm,
It's a
that's
tool.
good.
It's a magnifier. That's it.
Great. Love it. Okay. And then my last question for you. I like to ask everyone this, just your definition of success at this point in your life. Obviously, I think it changes every year, but like for you right now, what's your definition of success?
It's a good question. And you're right, it has changed over time.
Totally.
Like
For
with
me, it changes every
fulfillment,
year. Yeah.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that, and there's so many like levers to go into that, but if you were to go put it like simply put, I don't want to be like the person who's like, are you 1% better than yesterday? I don't like that either because it quantifies it to a number, and I don't like that either. It's more so when when you are you do you feel fulfilled? Like it's you could have nothing. I would rather have a dude that has nothing that gets fulfilled after what he does every day than a dude that it has everything, doesn't have any fulfillment at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's, are you fulfilled with what you do? Like work, kids,
Great.
lifestyle, education. Are you fulfilled? I would
It's
rather
awesome.
make way less money and feel fulfilled than make way more money and feel like I've never fulfilled anything. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, do you feel fulfilled? Like your
It's
cup,
awesome.
is it full, or is it, or and can you give abundantly to others and to yourself, to your kids?
Yeah.
That would be, yeah. What's your fulfillment level? Maybe we should take it
I
away
love
from
it.
like what is success, is like what is fulfillment,
There you go. There you go. That's perfect. Perfect. I love that definition. Ty, thanks for coming on. Everyone, I hope you guys got some good stuff from this. I totally did. We'll have you back on, man. I appreciate your friendship. You and Nick, man, both have been huge, you know, influence in my life. I continue to watch from afar. And yeah, I mean, this was great. I think we got to do it again. But so many takeaways, like track your stuff, get dialed in, finances, it all comes together, it's all full circle, and really live life to the fulfillment, right? Like you said at the end. I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on. We'll wrap it up with that. uh, yeah, thanks so much, Ty.
Absolutely. It's been awesome to go see what you're doing as well. Dude, like, yeah, let's run it back. Happy to
Let's do
do
it,
this
man.
anytime.
All right, take care, man.
Yeah.